Good morning and welcome to the Break of Dawn newspaper review on 32 FM 94.9. I am ADEMUWAGUN.
And I'm GBOLABO, famous school. Good morning, DENIKE.
Good morning. It is nice to be here this morning.
Same here.
Yes, we kickstart with the front pages this morning. I have the Punch, the Daily Post, the Daily. We have the Punch, the Daily Post, the Daily Trust. We also have the Vanguard, the Premium Times, amongst other news. All right, so starting from the front page of the Punch this morning, we can find subsidy, federal government borrowing to import fuel, says minister. $1 billion spent to recover territories seized by terrorists. Buhari. Just by the look of the Punch, you find over 500,000 security personnel to man polling booths. To the major story on the Punch, police presence at Emefiele's Abuja home stirs controversy. CBN governor expected to appear in court today over $53 million judgment debt. Police deny arrest move. DSS says deputy governors not quizzed. And you also find new VC promises to make Unilag Solution Center. Away from that, National Assembly to OK 22.7 trillion naira debt restructuring Tuesday. And two more stories, and we move to another paper. You can find slain lawyer buried, cleric consoles family. 13 billion naira drugs, military hardware seized at Lagos Airport. And that's it from the Punch this morning.
All right, moving on quickly. Let's look at the Nigerian Standard newspaper this morning. And of course, above the main plate, it says this morning, armed forces have made tremendous sacrifice for peace. And of course, we have motor accident claims lives of PDP supporters. Nigerians worse off than in 2015. That's what Atiku is saying. And of course, the big story here this morning says Jonathan cautions against bitterness in 2023. And at the bottom strip of the paper this morning, we also have here inflation drops to 21.43% in December 2022. And of course, the business day this morning is also telling us banks, fintechs tap cashless policy for growth. And of course, still on the front page of the Business Day newspaper this morning, we also have how extortion multiple taxes worsen food prices. And you might also want to know here, and this is also saying INEC wants Electoral Offences Commission bill passed, says no plan to postpone elections. And that's too much coming from the Business Day newspaper this morning.
All right, let's take something from the Premium Times this morning. This says, the first story says 2023 INEC chair at Chatham House explains why Nigerians in diaspora can't vote. Away from that, 2023 INEC chairman at Chatham House again speaks on use of technology during polls. Ondo Governor Akeredolu has health challenge. Spokesperson. Reps may shut down chamber again on Thursday. Away from that, viral tweet from parody account alleged Babangida's support for Peter Obi. Nigerian governors invite Emefiele over Naira redesign, cash withdrawal policy. Election, why some campaign promises are not kept. Ex-governor Fayemi Ahmed. Kidnappers abduct 3 church members sent to deliver ransom. And we'll take 2 or 3 more stories and move to another paper this morning. INEC joined in 791 pre-election suits ahead of 2023 elections. INEC chair Obasanjo, Obi of Onitsha, others grace investiture of Unilag's 13th vice chancellor. And finally, bills to make NYC optional. Increased members' allowances suffer setback in House of Reps.
All right, now to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Let's see what the paper has for us this morning. People using religion for political ends. That's what Buhari is saying. And this also says INEC won't surrender to security threats to conduct mock elections. And here also says Premier Hotel shuts down, staff laid off. Kidnappers seize family members after paying 6 million naira ransom. And troops kill bandits, clear hideouts in Kaduna. And we also have here Nigerian Army commences verification screening exercise. All right, and this is also saying he's extremely humble person. Ambassador Chinade is saying that. And of course, Anyoko, diplomat of diplomats, Ayo Adebanjo, people using religion for political ends. And of course, that's the much coming from Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning.
And to the Vanguard, Tinubu now rejected in Southwest PDP. No cause for alarm over Keredolu's health, Ondo government. Chatham House, INEC will hold polls despite attacks on facilities. 791 lawsuits, Yakubu. 23.7 trillion ways and means. Senate want details in 3 days. Why Nigeria's continue to fail despite efforts. Fahimi Aregbesola Ahmed. Clarify your position on Section 134 of Constitution. Agbakuba tells INEC boss. You can also find slain lawyer Bolanle Rahim buried in Lagos amid tears. Ex-CJTF coordinator blames France for insecurity in Borno. Court sentences Lagos organizer to death by hanging for robbing nurse of 57,000 naira. Northern Christian leaders raise alarm over worsening insecurity. We go on our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the analysis of the stories. Stay tuned.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
wá fẹ́ mú o ó máa yé jẹ bàjẹ́.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o rántí data wàásù tó máa ń ṣe láti lo YouTube fún wákàtí kan.
ìwọ kan já sóje yẹn àwọn èèyàn máa mọ gbogbo nǹkan ìgbàlódé tó ń sọ kútú wọ́wọ́.
ó tún máa mọ bá a ṣe ń dẹ́rìn pa àwọn èèyàn pẹ̀lú fáàrí tó pọ̀.
ó yẹ kó o rántí àpèjẹ́.
arákùnrin ṣe fúnra rẹ̀ àti wo bó ṣe lè di èyí tàbí tọ̀hún gbogbo níṣe ni bọ̀dá yẹn.
ṣàlẹ́wà wá wo bó o ṣe lè di aṣaṣọ lóge.
ra data fún wákàtí kan YouTube ní $50 tàbí wákàtí mẹ́ta fún $100 lórí ìlà MTN *131*8*1# lónìí.
láti ìlọ mẹ́ka làlọ́dẹ you fit fly ní kẹjá lọ.
asalaamu alaikum gbogbo mùsùlùmí ilẹ̀kùn hajj 2023 ti ṣí sílẹ̀ fún gbogbo ẹni tó fẹ́ bá wa ṣèrìn àjò lọ́dún yìí. iléeṣẹ́ alálùbáríkà you fit fly ní pé gbogbo wa o. hajj ìtọ́dún ní yàtọ̀ kọjá àtàtẹ̀yìnwá. ṣé ti wá mọ̀ pé àtètè sùn ní àtètè jí. ọ̀pọ̀ ti ń fowókọ́lẹ̀ níléeṣẹ́ you fit fly. ẹ̀yin náà tètè bá bọ̀ wá fowókọ́lẹ̀ fún hajj 2023 tí ó wáyé láàrin ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kẹfà sọ́jọ́ keje oṣù keje ọdún 2023 pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀ ètò tó mú ìgbádùn rẹpẹtẹ dání. ilégbé ìrọ̀rùn tí ò jìnnà sí haram àti mọ́sálásí ànábì Mádínà. síyára ọ̀fẹ́ lójoojúmọ́. oúnjẹ àjẹdọ́wẹ́kẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta lójúmọ́. tó fi mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ètò tí ó mú ká ẹ ṣe àṣepé hajj tọdún ní. a jẹ́ pé a máa ń fa kókò ṣòfò mọ́. ẹ wá darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn hujjaj lọ́fíìsì you fit fly tó wà ní Success House 7 Up Road Olúyọ̀lé Main Estate Ring Road Ìbàdàn tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pè 0703-711-7801. hajj 2023 pẹ̀lú you fit fly inshallah.
Are you looking for a quality hybrid of solar and wind? Solar panel, inverters, street light.
Stadium web bracket price them yet. For win. 20 brand new house, 24 Chacha new cars, 100 generators, 200 sewing machine, 1,000 rechargeable fan, and 1,000 upon 1,000 other price them day. Just dial *611# to enter and win inside the Globe Festival of Joy promo. Buy up to 20,000 naira data. Your luck fish shine to win brand new house. If you cost you recharge or low data when cost from 500 naira go reach 10,000 naira every month, week or every day. New or Charaka plus other fantabulous price them feel land your hand here. You say don't talk bicycle they sleep. Make you dial *611# now to enter and win. Terms and conditions there.
Unlimited.
They are giants in every sense of the word, and they bring entertainment that's just as big.
Big Brother Titan.
Don't miss the first ever season of Big Brother Titan with Naija and Mzansi contestants under one roof. Get ready for intense drama, romance, and cameras 24/7. It's an unmissable season. Big Brother Titans starts on Sunday, the 15th of January on DSTV 198, GoTV 29, and Africa Magic. Get and stay connected to DSTV and GoTV for the biggest takeover. Big Brother Titans is rated 18. Headline sponsors Bamboo, Flutterwave, and Lotto Star.
It's a beautiful morning, Niger. Don't forget to deposit your old Naira notes into your Momo wallet at the nearest Momo agent outlet before January 31st, 2023. First dial *671# to open the Momo wallet, then call our toll-free number 671 to locate the Momo agent near you.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
And you're welcome back. It's the Break of Dawn newspaper review on your latter station, 32 FM 94.9. I am DENIKE, ADEMUWAGUN.
And I'm GBOLABO, famous school. Austin Edumo is here. Good morning,
Austin joins us. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with the INEC story this morning. There was an appearance at Chatham House yesterday, and there was this headline: "Who conduct mock accreditation exercise nationwide ahead of elections." Now, it hasn't been stated when this is going to happen, but some countrymen and women are already telling INEC not to try it, as they think it's a way for them to rig the election for their favorable party. And also, some people are saying that why not use the time to register new voters ahead of the election?
Yes, on the statement by INEC chairman, registration for new voters, I think is becoming something too close to call. I don't think how INEC can be able to manage that. What really I feel INEC is trying to put in place is to ensure that those who still have PVCs uncollected get their PVC even between now and I think the end of the month, because INEC has extended that particular deadline. If INEC is able to do that, substantially we'll get a reasonable number out of the 93 million registered voters. But the idea of registering new voters, it takes a lot of process. I don't think INEC want to dabble into that. As far as mock accreditation is concerned, you know, INEC in recent elections have deployed a kind of device that when you do accreditation, you also vote simultaneously. INEC has been able to achieve that to a large extent, and that has really helped in the outcome and result declaration of these various elections. What used to be before now is that you do accreditation in the morning, you come back later in the day to cast your vote. And we find a situation where some people can only come for accreditation and will not be able to come back for the actual voting. So simultaneous accreditation and voting, as at the time INEC brought that on board, was an innovation. At that time, it was a welcome development. This issue of mock accreditation, of course, INEC chairman still really need to, he said that at the Chatham House, he still really need to come back home and let us know how that can work. Because if you are talking about mock accreditation, what does it entail? Does it mean that people have to physically come again and do the accreditation just to test run the process, and at the end of the day, they go back until election day, they now come and vote for the candidate of their choice? I don't know what the INEC chairman meant by mock accreditation, and in the Nigerian context, I do not see how that can work. If it's a pure case of electronic voting, of course, there could be online collation of this data in terms of accreditation. When you do your accreditation online, it will hit the INEC server. But the issue of a date for the election has been slated. So if you are talking about mock accreditation, are you saying that voters should come some weeks or some days ahead to test run the process? INEC should not complicate the process. In my view, I think they have prepared enough to be able to give us a credible poll. From the recent elections, INEC has done relatively well, better than what it used to be. Then let us use some of these templates, the Edo template, Ondo template, Ekiti template, and Osun template, to come into the the general election proper and see how it goes. Because some of this innovation that INEC brought on board, for this isolated governorship election I just read out now has really helped. So that was the process of this election, was the fact that INEC told us at that time that they were test running the process in terms of their technological deployment towards the 2023 national election. So the national election is here. But like I just said, let INEC chairman still come back home to let us know what he meant by mock accreditation, because I do not see how that will work. That is why some people are already raising eyebrow that, oh, perhaps to bring a candidate of their choice or what have you. But don't forget, the idea of ringing an election is almost becoming impossible. That is why politicians, they see resort to the issue of vote buying. Even those that are mopping up PVC, I don't know what they want to use it to do. That's the truth of the matter, because there is a machine. It's like a matchmaking machine. It will marry your fingerprint with your face. Everything about you will appear. So voting cannot be done by proxy. I don't know whether you are getting that.
Yes.
It can no longer be done by proxy. Before, what politician does was to mop up PVC. They vote on behalf of the people, even while the people are not there, because they have paid for the PVCs already. But now you have to be physically there. The machine will authenticate the fact that it was INEC that issued that card, and to also say that you are the bearer, you are the owner of that card. So for me, mock accreditation, I don't know how it works, except it gives further explanation.
Still on the Chatham House thing, INEC considers body odor for voters verification. I don't know if you saw that. He said it at the Chatham House yesterday. And according to him, the engineers at the commission has proposed to use body odor as a signifier during elections. And although he's told them to hold on it, but he was trying to defend the project, saying that how does a person's dog recognizes one? So they want to invent or bring an innovation where you can be recognized through your body odor at the polls.
Yes, well, see, in terms of deployment of technology, that is one thing that has really helped us in conducting election. We are not there yet, but I think we are far from what it used to be, which means that the journey to every credible poll in Nigeria has begun. So whether INEC can be able to achieve that using technology to detect body odor and marry it together, you make example of the dog or your pets in your home. You know, even at the dead of the night, when they see you or when they feel you, they recognize that, oh, this is my owner, because they are used to it. So whether this INEC machine, according to him, he said their team of engineers will have to also work on that. If that is able to see the light of the day, I think it's also a good one that they will use it to identify. But what we are interested in is a type of pool whose outcome will be acceptable to all.
All right, INEC is also saying that the runoff, there might likely be a runoff. And I'm wondering here, why do we have to have that in our elections? Just to add to that. And the other one has to do with the issue of the federal government granting Konwa and NAMDA now full autonomy to operate. Now, would we say that this is a way of spiting ASO? And will this resolve all the problems we have within the academic union in the universities? Because the government is saying, as a matter of fact, that these trade unions will be different from what has been existing in Nigeria. Now, how exactly will this down the tension and address all the salaries, the backlogs, and everything that these unions have been crying out foul against?
Yes, let's quickly deal with the issue of INEC before we move to that. On the issue of runoff or what have you, INEC is a commission. They prepare for every eventuality. Even they will prepare for inconclusive. Anything can happen during election. So these are major options that INEC will prepare for. Because in the case of a rerun, if they are unprepared, to go into it will mean another postponement. So they have to be well prepared for whatever option that will come out at the end of the day. That is that about that. On the issue of the federal government granting for autonomy to Konwa, NAMDA, or what have you, well, we have seen it as an indication before now that was what the federal government wanted to do, especially with the likes of Ngige. But we must realize that the federal government must be called to this fact that when you have headache, the solution is not to cut off the head. We are talking about funding and revitalization of the educational system, especially tertiary education in Nigeria. ASU has its own challenges. You understand? All of this strike that have been embarked upon has never helped the common man. Most of the time, it's about money and what have you. But don't also forget, the federal government that issue these licenses to this body, they are also trying to ensure that the agreement they willingly entered into. For example, if we say that ASU has its own problem, is that the reason why the federal government will not honor a simple agreement it had entered into? We assume that, we believe and we know that it is not President Muhammadu Buhari administration that negotiated the 2009 ASU federal government agreement. But that particular 2009 agreement has been renegotiated about 3 times under this Buhari administration. So why is it that the federal government is portraying a picture as if the ASU crisis can never be resolved? That's the issue. It is not just enough to give licenses to other body. If this current attitude of the federal government continue, there's a saying in Yoruba that the cane that is used to beat the first wife is also somewhere for the second wife. So you might be the latest bride today, but anything can happen. But what we are talking about is sincerity of purpose. How is the government committed to revitalization of the educational sector, especially tertiary education? So granting licenses to parallel bodies to counter ASU or to whittle down the overbearing influence of ASU or what have you, it's not the fact. I noticed something about this particular government. When there are dissenting voices, rather than addressing the crux of the matter in a way of providing solution, they will look at a way to clip your wings, as if when they do that, that will solve the whole problem. We cannot all keep quiet in the face of tyranny. Of course, that is the purpose of negotiation. While you are negotiating, you bring up your superior argument. At the end of the day, we meet at the table. In negotiation, there's what we call win-win situation. You understand? You concede some, I concede some, and we come to a logical conclusion. But a situation where the federal government is very notorious in disobeying or flouting its own agreement, what you have agreed that you will do. You understand? You deliberately and willingly, for one reason or the other. If we talk about paucity of funds, yes, we all live in Nigeria. There could be cash crunch or what have you. But come up with sincerity of purpose and how you are going to implement some of the challenges. So it is still there. That autonomy or license have been granted to CONUA. Does that address the issue of dilapidated structure in our university? Does that affect the issue of lack of proper funding for research? Does it even affect the budgetary allocation for education? So there are a whole lot of problems. The CONUA pledge yesterday that never again would the university system be shut down. Let's see how it goes. Whether if the federal government refuse to pay them salary, whether they will continue to work for those periods. So that's the truth. Nobody is happy that ASU had to go on strike for 10 months or what have you. But why is it that the government of Nigeria at every point in time, not just only in the case of ASU, in the case of health sector and other critical sector of the economy like that, why is it that it is only strike? It is the only language that the federal government recognizes or will realize. Agency will propose that they will go on strike so time. Resident doctors are proposing strike now. Nobody is saying anything until they eventually embark on that strike. So it's a problem that we have to deal with. It is not about registering parallel body. So the point really is that you may register this parallel body, but then the problem is still largely unsolved. That's the truth.
All right, let's look at this headline from The Punch. It says, police presence at Emefiele's Abuja home stirs controversy. Now, according to this, the a team of policemen went to Emefiele's house at around 8 o'clock yesterday, and they said they are there not to arrest him, but to ensure that he doesn't run away again, as he did weeks ago.
Did he actually run away? He traveled with Mr. President. He was on the delegation of Mr. President.
He was alleged to have traveled with Mr. President.
Yes, he traveled with Mr. President. He was part of that delegation because it also involved economy and foreign exchange issue. He didn't come back. According to him, he said he took permission from Mr. President to attend to the issue of his set. And we also know the reason why that was so, because of the controversy, the heat of the policy, and what have you. You know, Emefiele actually did more than what his condition of office require, and we blame it on the system, especially on the lethargic attitude of Mr. President. How can you have, for example, a CBN governor, the custodian of the treasury, signifying intention that is a card-carrying member of a political party, to the extent of speculation that he bought form at some point to contest the office of the president. It is within his right to aspire or to vie for the office of the president, but not as a sitting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. You know the implication of that. So that is by the way. Emefiele will appear before a federal high court in Abuja today. There was a case, a judgment death case involving the Central Bank on the issue of Paris Club refund. It's a popular issue, you know it. Yes. About $87 million, a judgment debt. What is a judgment debt? A judgment debt is a case where a court of competent jurisdiction gives an order that, DENIKE, you are owing GBOLABO. You understand? And that is a judgment debt. She's under obligation to pay you. If she refuses to pay you, you can also go to another court or the same court to invoke what the court referred to as a garnishee order. The garnishee order now will compel her to pay you the judgment debt. We have a lot of agencies. It is not just about the CBN. So let us not get it wrong. So in October 2022, that garnishee order came by the Federal High Court by Justice Iyank Eko that Emefiele should appear in the court on the 18th of January. At that time, it seems far away. This has nothing to do with the policy, naira redesign, cash withdrawal limit, and what have you. You understand? So failure for Emefiele to appear with his lawyer today, the court gave order to the IGP to get them arrested. So police presence in his home has nothing to do with whether policy, naira redesign, or what have you. Maybe to just to ensure that he honors the invitation of the court. And don't forget, this is not about Emefiele, it's about the CBN. So Emefiele happened to be the CBN governor at this time. We have a lot of judgment debt. An example of that was the case of P&ID. I hope we can still remember. You understand? It was a judgment debt, for example. So that is this particular case. So it has nothing to do with the policy, naira redesign, or what have you. Like I said earlier, when Justice Eko gave that order around October last year, nobody knew about it. It was far away, January 18. But lo and behold, today is January 18, and Emefiele is in the country. His own duty is just to appear on behalf of the CBN, just to appear to the court and give valid proof. Because out of the said 80-something million, about $17 million has been released. I think it's remaining about $53 million. So the $53 million, the court is asking, why have you not been able to do that? So let Emefiele comes on behalf of the federal government and explain whether the government does not have money or the government cannot pay at this time. Let him show cause. That is what the court want to identify and bring out as far as this case is concerned.
All right, so we have to go on our commercial break. When we come back, we'll be opening the phone lines. Stay tuned.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Wait. Remember our guy, Femo? What a character.
Yes, remember his usual 15 naira for 1 hour bundle on YouTube.
As in, he always knows the latest hits and bangers.
Yes, so even his comedy and series game is top notch.
Remember his nickname now?
Mr. Do It On Your Own. And also his come and see how to be this and that. Bros is well rounded.
Ada, come and see how to be a fashion designer.
Get 1 hour of YouTube video data for 50 naira and 3 hours for 130 naira on the MTN network. Simply dial *131 *8 *1 hash today. There's YouTube data for everyone on the MTN network.
When something correct you go show, we go see and well. Color correct. Now we time to choose. Waiting correct for Naija. Color correct. Light when no get head, the correct. Nah, he no correct. All the promise and fail, the correct. Nah, he no correct. Stable power supply. Correct. PRP and color. Correct. Color. Correct for the people. Now him we need. Make Naija for the correct. Color.
Vote the correct team of Kola Abiola and Haro Zago for president and vice president.
PRP victory!
Dubai Properties Lamila, Dubai Properties Nejalo. Tó bá ti jẹ́ ti kátàlẹ̀.
Bálùbárí kàkàbí ti bá wọnú iṣẹ́ wa. Tówó ṣe bìzàbìzà sọ́wọ́ ẹni ká fowó de nǹkan mọ́lẹ̀ ló kàn. Ìdí abáre ti iléeṣẹ́ Dubai Properties ṣe é pè wá láti wá ra ilẹ̀ tàbí ra ilé tó wojú rí. Sáwọn agbègbè tó fini lókè balẹ̀ bíi Kọ́lápọ̀ Ìṣọ̀lá Àkóbọ̀, Carlton Gate, Jericho, Olúyọ̀lé, Lera Digo Estate, Báṣọ̀run àti Bódìjà. Tẹ̀tẹ̀ lówó bá ilé ìdìwó. Àǹfààní tàbá tún sọlẹ̀ sí iléeṣẹ́ Dubai Properties nípa ìdókòwò aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ tí ó sọ wọn náà dolówó. Wàyí o, èyí arìnrìn àjò tẹ́ fẹ́ dé síbi tó ṣe dáadáa tó dàbí àfẹ́ ọba láti lo àsìkò péréte ó yẹ máa bọ̀ ní Dubai Court lákòóbọ̀ nìbàdàn àjòbí lé ní fáwọn nǹkan amáyédẹrùn tá a pa lẹ́sẹ̀ síbẹ̀ bákan náà gbogbo oníṣẹ́ kọ́lé ló wà fún yíyá sìmẹ́ǹtì wà fún títà ẹ̀dínwó ní gbogbo nǹkan wa ní iléeṣẹ́ Dubai Properties No. 13 Àkóbọ̀ Housing Estate of Exmark Plaza la wà ní General Gas nìbàdàn ẹ pè 0703-924-6543 Dubai Properties alábàárìn tó ṣe é fọkàn.
It's time to enjoy fast and reliable internet connection for less.
It's time to go big in the AirTel Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer.
It's time to take advantage in the AirTel Home Broadband All-Time Mega Offer. Get a MiFi with up to 125 gigabyte bonus data for just 5,000 naira, or a router with up to 240 gigabyte bonus data for just 10,000 naira. Visit any AirTel shop or www.airtel.com.ng/HBB now.
AirTel, the smartphone network.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. You're still on till break dawn on 32 FM 94.9. My name is GBOLABO, Female School.
Yes, and we move on to the phone line 0705 5949 0809 7949. Those are the phone lines to share your thoughts this morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.